Good afternoon and welcome to the News at 4. I'm Doug Petcash.
And I'm Shira Matsuzawa.
Moscow police and the Idaho State Police released more details about their investigation into the murders of 4 University of Idaho students today.
Moscow police, Idaho State Police, and the FBI are still investigating what happened on the morning of November 13th.
Police continue to say this is a targeted attack. The victims are Kaylee Gonsalves, Madison Mogen, Ethan Chapin, and Xana Kernodle. Police have no suspect or murder weapon.
And News Channel 7's Andrew Bartline is on top of this story for us today. And Andrew, I know we're learning the depth of this investigation today, right? Walk us through it.
Well, we got a few hard numbers, which kind of helps us understand, as you said, sort of the depth of this. It is now 10 days after the murders. The Idaho State Police say they have collected 103 different pieces of evidence from that crime scene. Police have taken 4,000 photos, several 3D scans of the house, and they've processed more than 1,000 tips. Through all of this, the police add their investigation has conducted roughly 150 interviews. More of the qualitative data, the information that we may learn from these interviews, is sealed from the public right now. The police continue to say that they're not releasing details that they say could hurt their investigation or any subsequent prosecutions, but they do clear up some speculation regarding a claim that Kaylee Gonsalves has a stalker. The police say they have heard this statement from interviews throughout their investigation, but they have been unable to confirm if that is true. The police continue to use language that suggests all options are possible. They're looking at a wide range of possibilities, and reporters at that news conference brought up concerns about the timing of all this. As I said, it's been 10 days since the murders. ISP say there are advantages and disadvantages to a longer investigation.
As time goes on, I mean, we're time past the initial calls for service and the initial crime. However, we also, as time goes on, are able to process the forensics evidence, any forensics evidence that we may have collected, and so that helps us. And we're also able to process the tips that continue to come in, which may help us. And so while time in one respect is not beneficial, in another respect it is, because it helps provide us with that whole picture of with all of the information that we're gathering, whether it's evidence or tips or any other information that we're gathering. It may help us to provide a clearer picture, and so it may help answer those questions that we're seeking as well.
Regarding the language of this is a, quote, targeted attack, a reporter did push on police to further explain, maybe who was originally targeted, any reason to believe if multiple of them were targeted, or why they were targeted. Police say they cannot release the information that they know about this. We know 2 people in the house survived. They were not attacked. The surviving roommates, one of the surviving roommates' cell phones is what was used to call police. None of them are suspects, and that extends to the person that drove them home. I believe we've known this for a couple days, but these keep getting asked by reporters, I think mostly national reporters. Person that drove them home, police say that's not a person of interest.
Right.
That young man at the grub truck, that video,
Right.
yep, he is not a suspect either. And then there's a couple phone calls that one of the victims routinely called somebody throughout, I believe, the night before. That person is not a person of interest or a suspect right now. So they have eliminated a lot of possibilities, and they say that no tip is too big or too small. That should be at the bottom of your screen right now, that tip line. They say sometimes you might think a tip isn't very important, but might tell them what isn't true. And they say that can often have a lot of utility to find out what is. So again, no tip too big or too small. They want to know if anybody has any information.
Yeah, we had an indication today of how emotional this is for investigators and people in the city. And when the deputy manager for the city, Tyler Palmer, said, we won't be defined by this incident. It will be defined by how we respond to it. And he was choked up. So it's really, they're seeing how hard people are working.
Right, you're definitely seeing that there's so many questions out there, but still there's also that emotional element at the end of all of this. And so hopefully we'll get more answers as this proceeds as well. All right, Andrew Bartline, thank you for joining us.